Hello, Rebel Esquire, Jen Lee here, talking about how to identify that your article or post that you're reading is AI generated. And this is one of my pet peeves because I'm a huge fan of AI. I use it for brainstorming. I use it for all kinds of things that make tasks easy to do and automate things. However, it's really, really frustrating when you see a horribly written article that is obviously just copy pasted and no thought went into it at all. So I have this little article or that I wrote that uses all the examples of how you can tell that something is chat GPT generated. And you'll see this in emails too. I see email blasts all the time that go out. You can tell that they just copy pasted. Um, Emoji overload. Humans don't write with tons of emojis. I use smiley faces. I will use my fire symbol every once in a while. I use a rocket because I have a program called Launch. So things that are specific to me, I will add in, but an emoji should not be on every line of an article. It just should not be. Um, please don't copy paste all the emojis in there. Randomly bolded words. I don't know what this is. This is something that ChatGPT didn't do at the beginning, but all of a sudden, over the last couple of months, it's randomly bolded words. Like, again, bolding should be for very specific. I don't use bold other than for maybe headlines and always consistent throughout, but all of these random bolded words, and this entire thing here was Chat GPT generated. I copy pasted because I told Chat GPT to write an article using Chat GPT uh, format to do this. And it created exactly what I wanted it to do. Colons, colons everywhere. I don't understand. Like you have a colon, you'll have semicolons, and M dashes. I don't know if we've decided that commas and periods are to last year or what, but I don't like colons with more colons because oftentimes I will see lists with a colon, like here's your handy guide, colons galore, colon. All these stupid colons and semicolons drive me crazy. And M dashes. So I use M dashes regularly because my ADHD brain has lots of extra thoughts. I use parentheses and M dashes. However, there's no reason to use it just randomly between words. And that's what they're using these M dashes for. I often will use them as like an afterthought, but and mostly because I really hate colons. So you'll often see me using a dash where sometimes someone will use colon. I'm not stylistic, and I know that I'm a little bit of a ranty on it, but just there's an overuse of some of this punctuation that really shows that it's not your work at all. Perfectly balanced list. And please stop it with these green check marks with every list is the same length. Everything is, well structured. Um, Bullet points with check marks. Oh, for the love of Pete, at least edit out some of these stylistic things that are obviously copy pasted. Um, Artificially polished tone with some nice little emojis there too. AI writing often sounds robotic or formal, I guess. You can create GPTs. Like I have it, my GPT basically says you should write everything as if it's coming with super sarcasm because I don't want to have to edit the first draft to say, please rewrite this snarky. Um, because everything that ChatGPT writes for me, I tell it to, okay, now make it actually sound snarky and not like a robot wrote this. Having personality and quirks and things is part of your writing style. Repeating synonyms and buzzwords. If you go through within one paragraph and you see crucial, important, significant, bolded, and probably with M dashes around them, you are likely seeing a lot of the buzzwords and things out there. I had one paragraph that I wrote for me that used the same word like three times in three different sentences. And I was like, at least vary your synonyms. It was the same word. Um, and then the motivational and generic conclusions. This cracks me up because if you know me, I am a fairly positive person, but I'm also very sarcastic. And whenever I see something with these powerful tips, you'll be unstoppable. You know, I didn't write that. You know, I didn't because I'm never going to write like that. But it's just very, it's a clear giveaway that either you don't know what you're talking about because why would you let AI generate an article, um, and or that you're lazy. No one concludes sentences that way. And in fact, I didn't put it on this list, and I should have probably told ChatGPT to include it. But if you're using the free version of ChatGPT, your paragraphs will look like a robot wrote them. It'll say first, second, then, finally, in conclusion, just like you're in third grade writing a 5 paragraph, you know, essay that you've been taught all the structure of. Whenever I see someone who posts something on Facebook or LinkedIn and I see those dead giveaways, I'm like, these aren't your thoughts at all. These are something that you copy pasted from ChatGPT to try to create content. And so nobody writes with conclusion at the bottom for the most part. I mean, sometimes you write, in conclusion, eh, if you're being more formal, but yeah, please, please stop copy pasting directly from ChatGPT. Your readers will thank you. And we're getting overloaded with content that is just garbage. So that is my rant for today. But if you've ever looked through someone's postings or articles and you see this, and I will tell you, I generate a lot of my articles and my content using ChatGPT. However, no emoji overload, no randomly bolded words. I go through and edit. I add in my snark to it. A lot of times what I'm doing is I'm getting like the outline or the basics out there that I threw into Chat GPT as my initial idea. And I'm talking usually to chat when I do this. I don't type it out. So I tell chat what I want. So if you use prompting correctly and you edit correctly, it's a game changer. But if you're just going to throw crap out there and then copy paste it, you're not doing yourself any favors and you're turning off those of us who actually do read your content. So just putting that out there. That's my rant for today on ChatGPT. Use it every day for every task, but use it smart. Be smart about how you're using it.